All right. Over to Everton, Paul. Will they be able to hold off interest in Jared Branthwaite if Real Madrid is really interested in the center back? Or will the player just push that move with a dream opportunity?
Real Madrid and Barcelona don't come knocking very often, do they? So when an opportunity like that for a player comes around, you think it's hard to knock back. For me, if that is a situation that arises for Jared Branthwaite, it's almost a good enough. It's too good to turn down. But then you liken it to Jonthan Woodgate, what he did when he went out there to Real Madrid, and it didn't go as well as he expected it to or as he wanted it to. If there's no move there, you don't force a move because Jared Branthwaite is still a very, very young player. His value is not going to go down at Everton, and actually what David Moyes has done at Everton, they are now guaranteed to go into this new stadium as a Premier League team. For Jared Branthwaite to have another season at Everton under a manager like David Moyes, he's only going to develop him as a player and a person even more, and his value will increase. Unless Everton, we talk about FFP and PSR every week and it's boring, but what clubs have to do is sell to speculate, to accumulate. So Everton might be in a situation where they're going to get a shed load of money in for Branthwaite, which then allows them to strengthen their squad in all other areas to develop the side. Like we talk about Newcastle every week with Alexander Isak as well. The only way that Newcastle will let him go is if they get a great stack of money that they can invest and strengthen the rest of the squad. Because while these rules are in place, love them or loathe them, they've got to be a structure of the way of rebuilding. Newcastle should be getting players like Alexander Isak and adding more players like him to that squad and to that side, but they can't do it. Everton would love to keep Jared Branthwaite and build a side around him, but actually the way the rules are at the moment, it might not allow that. But I don't think it's a bad thing if he stays for another season for his own development.
And Pete, on the attacking side of things, Luis Enrique is rumored to be near the top of Everton's list for new wingers this summer. We know that's been a massive need for them over the past year or two. Will they be able to actually hold off interest from Newcastle and other top clubs if they were to come in?
Yeah, it will be difficult, I think, for Everton to try and beat the likes of Newcastle and Forest to Enrique if those two clubs do follow up their interest in the Marseille man. Obviously, they could potentially offer European football to Enrique if they do decide to make a move for him. Everton, as you've said, we know priority for the last couple of transfer windows has been new wingers. That's not going to change in the summer. David Moyes would like to add some creativity and some width to his side as well. He's still got Jesper Lindstrom on loan, Jack Harrison on loan as well. Decisions will have to be made on their long-term futures. I would say it's probably more likely that Everton would pursue a permanent deal for Lindstrom rather than Jack Harrison right now, because Lindstrom has been playing more regularly under David Moyes. But look, Enrique's had a really good season for Marseille. He's got 9 goals and 6 assists and 25 appearances across all competitions, and he would fit the profile for the type of signing that Everton are looking at going forward under the Freaking group. He's a young player with huge potential. He's a creative player who will add goals and assists to that Everton side if they were to bring him to the new stadium next season as well. But I think they'll have a major battle to land him if there's other interested clubs in him as well. And I'm sure Marseille don't really want to sell him either. They'll be hoping to be in the Champions League next season themselves. The Brazilian, he's under contract there at the Stade Velodrome until 2028, so he's got 3 years left on his deal. It would take a big fee to try and prize him away. So yeah, it looks a difficult deal to do for Everton, and as we've spoken before in previous pods, David Moyes, I think, ideally would prefer to do his transfer shopping this summer, maybe in the Championship, maybe looking at some young homegrown players that he can help develop and everything else. But look, Everton, the main thing for them right now is they've secured Premier League safety, but there's a bit of uncertainty with everything going on. Talk there potentially could be a new sporting director at the club come the summer with Kevin Thelwell out of contract in the summer. So until all those situations off the field get sorted, that's when the real sort of work will begin on the transfer front in the summer window for Everton.
And Paul, with this recent uptick in Everton's form, obviously that we've been talking about, do you think there's actually a chance that Dominic Calvert-Lewin would maybe re-sign and stay for their long-term project?
I don't know why they'd want to keep him, in all honesty. You look at where he is now in his career. He's coming to the end of his contract. 22 appearances, not all starts this season, and certainly not completed games. You look at his injury record. He scored 3 Premier League goals. His contract's up this season. They paid 1.5 million for him from Sheffield United all that time ago. He's 27, 28 in March. So come the end of the season, he's a 28-year-old out of contract. And you look at clubs' models, or what is it, the transcript for signing a player, the age of a player that they sign, it's younger than that. I think for Dominic Calvert-Lewin, for Everton, his injury record, can you keep him fit? Is he going to do it? He hasn't done it for a number of seasons at that level now. The potential was always there with him. He's a top-class player when you keep him fit and you keep him firing. There's one game, I can't remember what game it was, I saw him this year and I just thought, he's back. He really is back. He's playing well. He was holding off the centre-halves, scored a goal. He's a real problem, but he doesn't do it often enough. And I think for Everton under David Moyes,
played well against Spurs.
Was it the Tottenham game? Is that when it was that I was thinking of? And I mean, it's for a player like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, when he's taking up a clump of the wages like that and not playing, and you're having to scratch your head to remember the last time that he played well, or when he does play well, it's a standout game. A player, a figurehead like that, you want doing that week in and week out. And for Everton, for me, I don't see pushing the boat out hugely and offering him a huge contract to keep him at the club. I don't see the benefit. If you want to keep him at the club, you're going to need somebody else as well. You know, you can't rely, as we've seen this season. But listen, Beto's stepped up to the mark, hasn't he? You see his figures. Beto's stepped up to the mark this season. So actually, is Dominic Calvert-Lewin going to want to stay at Everton? Because now he's got a battle in his hands. If he is fully fit, and him and Beto are playing to the top level, at the moment he's got to fight on to even get in the team. It might be a situation, in all honesty, without sitting on the fence, works for both. Calvert-Lewin moves on and Everton get an opportunity to bring some new players in.